Today we're going to talk a little bit about subdivision for sheep grazing. There's three main reasons why we want to subdivide our fields, our paddocks for our flocks. Number one is that it gives us much greater control of where the sheep are grazing at any one time. Number two, it will help us to improve our utilisation and our subsequent regrowth. And number three, most importantly I suppose, is our animal performance, particularly our lamb performance, in that they're spending shorter periods of time in any one area, so they're getting a much more consistent diet, going into leafier swards quicker, so that yes, they are grazing out the sward, but they're getting to that leafy stuff quicker than bigger fields. So one of the key considerations in setting up the fence is the number of strands that we have making up the division. That will be largely dictated by the type of sheep that are grazing behind the fence. This example here has 4 strands of polywire. It was set up in late March to train young lambs. You can see that the bottom 2 polywires are quite close together. That's so that the lambs don't have the opportunity to go through the wire, and they get trained to the fence. For young lambs like that, you have the polywires basically in position 2, 3, 5 and 8, and that roughly translates into about 20 centimetres, 30 centimetres, somewhere around 45 to 50 centimetres, and about 80 centimetres for the top one. As the season progresses, we can reduce the number of strands, usually down to 3 strands of wire. How that will look is basically the bottom strand of wire wouldn't be required, and you'll end up with 3 strands somewhere in the region of the third hook, the 5th hook and the 8th hook. The reason for that is two reasons, I suppose. Number one, the lambs are now fully trained to the fence and they're less curious. And number two, as the season progresses and our grass heights get higher and heavier, it also reduces the potential for the fence to earth on the bottom wire. The most important element of setting up an electric fence for sheep is to ensure a good power supply, especially in the early stages, to train the sheep maybe that haven't been used to electric fencing before. To achieve that, in this case we're using a battery fencer. If mains power is available, all the better. Battery fencer, ensure a new battery, ensure a good earth, and ensure a good clean connection to the fence. You can see here we've connected the different polywires together by a piece of steel wire and made sure that they're adequately connected in all locations to ensure even supply of power throughout the fence. Also notice that where we're connecting the wire is at the end of the reels. We're joining here at the insulators from a timber post. The reason for that is that we want to avoid damaging the wire on the reel side of the fence, so that over time it will maybe weaken with the power connection. So in this case then all we would have to do is just snip off the damaged piece and start again from the fresh end.